There's been a lot of chaos in the arena lately and many comps are going up, I mean really up, then shooting back down. Some comps disappearing altogether and so on. It's been getting better and this patch we are starting to see some old faithfuls back in the fold, and guess what? It's not Vanguard Ahri. Oh wait. Okay, Control tells me that she's still OP, but hey, the other two are newish. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another ProGuides TFT video. Today we're going to be talking about patch 10.22's must-play comps and why they have been so successful. Make sure to play these comps when you can and you will definitely rise in rank. As with every top comps list, getting the top comp will not guarantee first place, but it will give you a high enough chance to finish top 4, netting you that sweet LP. Positioning, items, and scouting are still your most important tools in the game, working together with your comp in order to give you guys that shiny first place. In this video, we'll be talking about each comp, a general playstyle guide, a look at the items and how you can use them, and their positioning. This patch went through a few changes to traits, nerfing some that were out of control and then slightly reworking a couple of others like Dazzler. Overall, there were some light touches, but they were enough to change our must playlist a little bit and then widen our honorable mention list a little bit as well. There's a few comps that you can do really well with right now, and there are some options in the mid and early game due to the reworked traits. And for our question of the day, how much Ahri have you played until you got tired of it? I know I gave up after about 20 games. Before we dive right in, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Discord community and a new subreddit that is growing really fast. We have you to thank for that, and we really want to continue building our community and helping you guys be a part of it. Make sure you check the link in the description down below. And with that all being said, let's go ahead and dive right into our comp for 10.22, and it is Talon and his gang. He was pretty good last patch, and the comp only got better this patch due to the indirect buffs that the auxiliary units got, like Morgana. Yone seems to have taken Lee Sin's place as the most ridiculous legendary as well, and he's part of the comp. We went over this comp in our last video, and not much has changed since then. The key points of when to go for this comp remains. Talon needs his items, and you gotta level quickly to level 8s, at least to get your Talon and his support staff 2-star. What has changed is that Assassins going out of the meta, and Divine, which CC'd him a lot, got nerfed, and that makes for easier targets for the jumpy Assassin of Noxus. Try to commit your items for him early, especially if you find a Talon at level 5. Units that can carry Talon items include Zed, Akali, Yasuo, and even Vayne for her recent buffs. A chosen Vayne with Talon items and Sharpshooter could help you maintain a decent streak, or at least your health levels at a good point until you find your comp. Play flexibly with your chosen, with Talon being the optimal one and the extra stats mostly. Assassin Talon is probably the best because you don't have to run Pike, with Enlightened being a little bit awkward since forcing 6 Enlightened is not really worth losing Adept for. Morgana being buffed because of the Dazzler mini rework means that she is in a much better place than she was before, and she should definitely be your chosen if you find her. Working 4 Dazzler into the comp at level 9 or not playing Lux and then adding a Yasuo to help the Yone survive a little bit better is also pretty good. The last really good chosen option is getting an Irelia or Shen with Adept, which kind of helps you hit that level 4 Adept, and then all hell breaks loose and then Talon is unstoppable. If you get too many AP items early, do not fret. You can still go for comp if you find a Talon. You'll just have to rely on Morgana to carry for a while as you assemble a couple of essential Talon items as well. Her spell went from full random to controlled random, so she's a little bit better at targeting the correct targets, but not perfect. So remember that Morgana can't do it alone, as she needs the Talon at the end, one-shotting the squishies and tanks alike. Assassins have no set positioning, so make sure that you move your Talon around a lot, focusing on landing a good first target for him. Making the board as chaotic as possible, breaking up units aggro by spacing out, and then letting all the CC land on the Irelia, Lux, Yone, and Shen. This will give Talon and Morgana enough time to one-shot or shred them respectively. You should usually corner Morgana to protect her a little bit, but make sure she's not in the path of any assassin like an opposing Talon. She can heal through small sustained damage if you have items on her, but she can't stand up to the one-shot kills, like Talon. Talon's atomization changed a little bit, edging away from Bloodthirster and moving on to Hand of Justice. The Infinity Edge and Guardian Angel are still part of the usual fare for him. The Hand of Justice allows him to multiplicatively improve his damage, deleting entire planets, or heal him for full health every time he casts a spell, both incredibly strong uses. HOJ is also a very good early game item with many strong users like Yasuo, so it's a good slam too. Morgana needs Morella before anything else, and further itemization could be spell crit or Rabadons or even a Chalice, though the spacing positioning will be messed with a little bit. If you want, itemizing Yone is extremely good this patch, with one of his favorite items being Rapid Fire Cannon, which incidentally gives you something to do with random recurve bows that you get. He's also pretty good with blue buff and any AP item. Let's go ahead and move on to our next comp. I mean, you didn't really expect her to go away, did you? Good, because she didn't. There are a few changes to the comp as well as some meta adaptations that we're going to be discussing though. However, Ahri still reigns supreme, spirit bombing us all the way. Ahri is famous for being a really flexible oriented comp, hence why everyone seems to be defaulting to her in every late game. It's much like Kayle of set 3, although instead of slamming a Ginsus and playing the game until you actually hit Kayle, you now slam a GA or a jeweled Gauntlet or both and then play the game until you hit Ahri. Of course, there are more optimal plays that you can make, like using a good chosen or unit for Ahri's items like Kindred. You should follow our leveling guide video to maintain a healthy economy and level properly, since you gotta get to level 8 for all those 4 stars that this comp needs. This is one of the comps where hitting the unit early is quite important, but you will only be able to get a win streak if you got the right items. Without GA and or jeweled Gauntlet, don't expect that your Ahri, which you found in 2.5 at level 5, you luck sack, will carry you to a win streak. She's not that OP, at least not anymore, unless your lobby is half asleep, in which case, enjoy your first. One of the newer parts about Ahri is that the Vanguard part can be left kind of by the wayside. It never actually was about the trait as much as it was about the CC and the gathering together potential that Sejuani and Aatrox's spells have. But if you can't find them or the lobby is just too high magic damage, which is fairly common in the meta, then you can go Adept, replacing them with Irelia and Yone. Since you already play Shen, hey, that's 3 Adepts, reducing opponents' mana gain, giving time to Ahri to go all Goku on them. Except it doesn't really last 20 episodes. Just protect your Ahri, that's really all there is to it. With Talon being emergent as we said before, he can delete your Ahri and you don't really want that. GA will stop him, but if he can jump back to her fairly quickly with his ultimate, he can even dodge her own if he's in the air while hers lands. Overall, be careful and give him the least chance. In most matchups with a decent frontline, if your Ahri casts, you should be winning or losing graciously. As we said, you can replace Sejuani and Aatrox with Adepts. You mostly keep the Thresh because Dusk is love, Dusk is life. Guardian Angel, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Infinity Edge for that 100% crit are lethal on Ahri. A second Jeweled Gauntlet is also good. It's difficult to itemize a secondary carry with this comp, so you have a couple of options. Going into Adept if you find a Yone, which means that you can itemize him, making a lot of utility items, and then spreading them to your Yuumi or other supports, helping Ahri survive longer or do more damage. Okay, this one is newish, we promise. Ashe had many bedfellows this patch and we sure ain't judging, though Tryndamere is probably rather miffed. This time with her bug being fixed and her damage actually increasing a little bit, on top of her itemization being expanded. She tags along with some of her friends to wreak some havoc. This is a type of comp that you stumble into, as well as Force. Once again, we prefer to show you guys and gals comps that do not solely rely on hitting a specific chosen. Yes, if they are too strong, we will showcase them, but there's not really much to learn about forcing those types. This is another comp where you can be playing something completely different and then see an Ashe and Warwick in the same shop. Have a couple of other units and then just go for it. This comp's main strength relies in the carry's flexibility it has, as well as a fairly high ceiling. Adept helps you give Ashe some time to ramp up, and the Sejuani keeps them in place, though you don't really have to play her. Aatrox is pretty good too, or maybe a chosen Cassiopeia, who can replace either Sejuani as a Mystic to hit 4, or Zilean with Riven taking Sejuani's place as a keeper, adding Dusk on top. So technically the comp is online at level 7, but it's tough to hit all the required units, or at least they're stronger incarnations at that point, so leveling to 8 it is. Finally, you can add Lee Sin for more Divine, should you for example get a Divine Chosen Warwick or Irelia, or if you just hit Lee Sin, you can remove Sejuani and then add Jax and Lee, putting duelists into the mix. Ashe remains the carry, but you see the point. There's just so many potential carries depending on your items that you'll be able to get a decent position with this comp no matter what the item roulette deals you. As with all the protect the carry comps, such is your lot here as well. The Ashe gets snugged into the corner, and there's also an Azir soldier that you can use to play around with. Placing them in the corner when opposing Aatrox is in front of your Sejuani will have them pull them instead of Ashe, negating that need for Quicksilver, at least against that threat. Ashe has options now. You can go ahead and go full attack speed build, but it's not as effective now that all the flurry units can crit. We prefer her with a lot of swords now, using items like Deathblade, Guardian's Angel, Bloodthirster, Infinity Edge, Last Whisper combo, and so on. You can even make her Divine if you get the chance, and she's pretty good with it. Flurried plus Divine true damage is a match made in heaven, so keeping an eye out for that sort of Divine. Guardian Angel should be her defensive item of choice, and a Bloodthirster on top to make her really safe. Other items include Morello on Sejuani, Rapid Fire Cannon, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Blue Buff on Yone, tank items and tank etc. If you get a Lee Sin, giving him a couple of mana items for that first spell to happen quickly is pretty good too. That's it for our must play comps, and without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to our honorable mentions. Sharpshooters are still pretty strong, but more so as a splash into other comps. The chase trait is still good, but 2 Sharpshooter is still one of the better mid games that there are right now. Jinx and Chosen Bane can go a long way. Elderwood is making a little bit of a comeback, especially at the chase trait, with Ezreal and Ashe being buffed. The Ninja Shade comp with Zed and Evelynn carry is fairly strong, but it relies on Eve or Zed Chosen and some specific items like Gunblade or RFC. And that's gonna be it for this video. We will be uploading every week on Wednesday and Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you check out our TFT content on YouTube and our high elo coaches on ProGuides.com. If you have any feedback for us, good or bad, comment below and we will be happy to read what you have to say. But I personally will be happier to read the positive comments. Anyway, with that all being said, get out here and then farm some LP using the must play comps that you saw here today. Stay safe, stay happy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.